Alrighty, guys, another day's in the books for stocks, and let me tell you, man, it was a pretty good day across the board, except for the Dow. The Dow actually broke even, literally. It went down 1 point, which for the Dow is nothing, right? And the VIX went down over 5%. But look, QQQ ripped up 1.1%. The Russell went up 1%, and the S&P went up over 0.5%. So look, we're going to break down the indices in this video, stocks I'm looking at right now, and overall where my head's at in this market as well. We've been going nuts for pretty much the entire year, right? And recently here, stocks are hitting all-time highs. So let's cover it, man. Hit the like button. Feel free to subscribe. Join the Patreon for my portfolio updates if you're interested. That is, guys, link down below, also pinned in the comment section. And let's get into it. So right now, again, we just had a crazy green day, right? S&P hit all-time highs. If we pull it up here, we can see we hit $673.63. And this triangle that we were talking about earlier, that's starting to play out. You can see it here on the 30-minute chart on SPY, looking beautiful, right? QQQ also had a phenomenal day, all-time high. We hit 600. Actually, looks like in the aftermarket, we hit another all-time high at $612.23. And the triangle on QQQ is also playing out. Look at this. This is actually a little bit ahead of SPY, but, you know, both of them hitting all-time highs, breaking out. You know, it's what more could you ask for, right, at this point? And again, the Dow broke even on the day, which this just hit a milestone, an all-time high a couple days ago. I think this was on Friday of last week. Yeah, Friday last week we hit over 47K, and the Russell right now went up over 1% on the day, and this is also going for the all-time highs, which we hit 2,500. I think that was on Monday, and then we saw a drawdown yesterday, but today we followed that up with a rebound, which is very good on the charts here. For the bulls, that is, right? For the bulls. So we are looking great across the board. And I get questions, guys, all the time. You know, stocks are at all-time highs, Stas. What should I do? Should I sell out of my portfolio? You know, I saw Robert Kiyosaki. Robert, I like the guy. I actually have his book. I think his book's right behind my head. But it's funny. This guy calls for a crash every single year. You know, I saw Robert Kiyosaki podcast on Graham Stephan's podcast last week or a couple of days ago, and he's calling for a market crash again. So it's like a clock's right, you know, a broken clock's right. Whatever, you know that saying. And it's like, should I sell out of my portfolio? You know, Robert Kiyosaki saying there's a crash. This guy said crash. Guys, I've been in the market for 10 years now, and every single year somebody has said there's going to be a crash, right? It is what it is. And am I selling out now because we're at all-time highs? You know, oh, there's going to be a crash. Absolutely not. You know, absolutely not. My take is, man, if you're in the market for the long term, you know, 10, 20, 30 years, if you're panic selling based off of a short-term crash that may or may not come, that's not the way to go. That's actually how you spook yourself out of the market, and then you miss out because the market keeps going, you don't buy back in, you wait for this crash, it doesn't happen. It's just a mess, you know what I mean? So if you're trying to time the market, you know, get out before a crash, it doesn't make sense to me. So for me, what I'm doing right now in this market is I'm adding to where I see value, and I'm adding ETFs if I don't see value in my portfolio. By that, I mean, look, I have like 10, 15 stocks that I own, and I own a couple ETFs. You know, I own VTI, I own XLE, I own a couple ETFs. So if I don't see value in an individual stock, let's say, for example, Google, right? We'll throw Google up here. I'm not buying Google now. I own it, but I'm not buying it because I think the price, it's not a great value right now. To keep things super layman's terms, right? Price is what you pay, value is what you get. When it comes to individual stocks, you need to buy at a good price, not anywhere. And my philosophy is, when I'm buying individual stocks, right, you got to buy at the right price. And if there's no stock that I want to buy, let's say each week I buy stocks, right? If there's no stock that week I want to buy, that's at a good value, or that I just started buying, or that I just started accumulating, I simply put that money into an ETF. I dollar cost average into a VTI, into an XLE. Again, unless I see a great buy. In this case, again, for example, Google. I'm not adding it here, so if Google's my only stock, I'm not going to buy it here. I'm going to put my money in VTI instead, or find a better valued stock. So for example, now, I've been buying NVO. This is one that I was buying in the mid-high 40s right here in this window after it collapsed, right? I bought a bunch of shares, call options, and now boom, it's recovered a good chunk. And I'm accumulating a little bit more, but not as much as I was when it was getting destroyed. Another one that I'm buying, for example, is DeFi Technologies. Another stock here that I think it's, a good value. It's beaten up. It's down a ton over the last couple months, but still a great company in my opinion. I'm adding, that's the way I look at it. But if there's no value out there in individual stocks, I don't mind just buying VTI, right? VTI has never led me wrong, guys, literally, as a good chunk of my portfolio, a good core position. It just does not lead you wrong. You've seen Warren Buffett say it. You've seen a lot of these big financial guys say it. If you simply put your money in an S&P or a VTI or a broad-based index, you're going to be good, man. And if you want to buy stocks around that, by all means. And I believe in that philosophy. So I don't want to go too much into that, but the overall market is ripping. And no, I am not panic selling, man. There's a stat. On a side note, there's a stat that if you missed like the 20 best days in the stock market over the last 100 years or 50 years, I forget the exact stat. You guys probably know this. But if you missed just 20 days, your return would be a lot worse, a lot lower. Think about that. Which means simply holding and buying and accumulating and holding is the way to go. Because if you miss those massive recovery days, yeah, your return's going to suffer. Think about those days we had in COVID, or, in any market crash or volatile market. Think about those volatile rips up and down. If you're not in that recovery, you're going to miss a lot of the move. It's going to impact your return long term, right? So let me go through the watch list here, guys. AMD, man. And by the way, hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already, guys. I appreciate all of you for tuning in. You guys are awesome. Look, AMD ripped $24, guys. So I was wrong. I'll be honest, man. I thought we were going to get a bigger drawdown. I guess we did get a drawdown that day. We got some profit taking, but man, this thing just built a new base yesterday leading into today. Let me show you this right here. We saw a big run, obviously, on the OpenAI news on Monday. Then we cooled off a bit Monday. Built a new base here yesterday at about 210. Today we opened up at 210. And boy, did we rip just right off of that point. I mean, that's super bullish, guys. Super bullish. And I don't want to say I was wrong per se. I guess I thought we were going to get, I didn't think we were going to get a bigger pullback per se. But man, I didn't think we were just going to go to 250 like that. Look, it looks like that's where we're going, man. Honestly, with today's move, I'm kind of convinced now AMD is going to 250 in the short term. If it holds that, that's a whole nother story, different conversation. But yeah, I think, man, this thing is really building momentum. And yeah, I sold out early. That's the reality. You guys know that. But man, I'm excited for all you guys that are still in the stock, that were buying it when I was buying it, and you're still in it. If you're locking in profits today, man, I am pumped for everybody that made a bunch of money on this, because we were pounding the table for months, a year ago, 8-9 months ago, when it wasn't popular. We were buying AMD, building the position, and now is really when the money's being made. This is how the stock market works, guys. You can hold the stock for a year, 2 years. It doesn't do anything. This is especially how individual stocks work a lot of the time. You could hold it for a couple years, it does nothing, and then boom, 1 year it just doubles, or it goes 5x, and then you make all your money that 1 year or that one time period, whatever it may be. So yeah, if you held AMD up till, let's say, May or June, you might have not made any money when it was at $125 a share. I mean, the stock was at 125, 130 back in July, and now it's at 230. Do you see how in 3 months it made all this money for all the people that were holding essentially, or accumulating, whatever it may be, for the last 1 to 3 years? All the money was made in the last 3 months. That's nuts, at least for the people that were buying here. So AMD, phenomenal day, man. What else? Micron did quite well today, 5%. I mean, this thing, this thing at this point is getting ridiculous. I'll be honest, guys. I'm not in Micron, but this thing has gone up like 300%. I mean, give me a freaking break. 250% off the lows. It needs to cool off, honestly. I think this is going to draw down to about 150 to 175. I'm not buying this here, but man, it went up another 6%. Monstrous day for Micron. Let's see what else. We'll do one more. I feel like I rambled a lot in this video, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But SoundHound AI, this thing keeps going. 4%, another big move here. We have the cup and handle playing out, and the cup and handle within the cup and handle is also playing out. I mean, guys, this looks phenomenal. SoundHound, even though it's a little overbought, it looks like the bulls want more. That's the reality with the cup and handle, within the cup and handle, playing out. So SoundHound I like, and again, I mean, all the stocks I feel like on my watch list, not all of them obviously, but it was one of those days, green across the board, and it's exciting. It really is. And again, for me, guys, I'm not selling out just because Robert Kiyosaki or some other guy, Peter Schiff, or this guy, that guy is calling for a market crash. I don't give a crap. I am not selling. I'm buying more stocks. I'm building wealth for the long term, and you're not going to trick me out of the market. That's where people, another big problem. That's where they go wrong. They watch these guys, the Kiyosakis, the this, the that, the YouTubers that are saying crash every day, and it's like, man, take everything with a grain of salt. You got to realize, don't get tricked out of the market. That's where you lose. You're going to lose long term if you get tricked out. And we'll leave it at that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button, subscribe, join the Patreon for my portfolio updates. I'll see you in there, guys. Link down below in the comments section as well. I'll see you in the next video.